we're on quite a good run at the moment. We lost the last game we had, but we've been unbeaten in the league apart from that, and since the first day of the season, which you saw. We have gone out of the Lega, but because that gives us no money, it doesn't really matter to me much. And we're doing pretty well. We are probably a win away, even with that defeat, we're probably a win away from being towards the top of the table. And let's see if we can get one, maybe even two of those today. Let's see what's up next. Right, I'm just going to break off here for one of my back in time moments, just to quickly take you through my signings. We did make one last signing that I haven't showed you yet, in Ilario Monterici, who is a good centre-back. We'd already signed Fazio as a centre-back in the short term. They'll probably be the partnership now, I imagine, for this season, because Stanger is more of a backup centre-back, really. So Monterici, whilst he's considered not as good, let's just quickly compare them. So Stanger is not quite as good defensively, better speed, better vision. Yeah. Given that he's going to be playing next to an ageing centre-back, maybe Stanger wouldn't be the worst option there. I think Monterici now becomes the backup. Sorry, Monterici. To be fair, I brought him in as a fringe player, so he'll be perfectly fine with that. But it's good to have that backup now. And if you look through the squad, we have got pretty decent cover in most positions now. I don't think there's any position now that would, if one player gets injured, that I've got a real problem. Right side, well, we've got Latilat. Left side, I suppose we could play Celli there. We've got Latilat again. And Lentini if necessary, although he's not great. Right, so that is our current squad. It's not perfect, and if I can get a couple of free transfers in over the next few weeks to kind of bulk out the squad a little bit, possibly improve it, then that's something I'll do. But that is the end of my transfer business in terms of buying players from other players. I mean, having said that, all of these guys are free transfers anyway, so maybe it's easier than you think. I don't know, thinking about it, I'm not actually sure if I can actually register them. If I was to buy a free transfer now, can I register? Well, I guess you'll find out either in another video or later in the video. So I'll see you then. Right, before the main video begins, just got a bit of bad news to share with you. Francesco Rolla, my wonder kid, he doesn't actually call him a wonder kid, but he feels like a wonder kid at this level. My wonder kid winger has basically ended his season more or less. I'm going to send him to a specialist because it clearly makes sense. He's actually been quite injury prone anyway, so God knows we could do with him being kind of properly fixed, and we won't be seeing him again until towards the end of the season, which is a bit sad. We will need to try and find somebody to come in to replace him, and it is, as I say, it's a real shame because I think he's the kind of player who should develop into a really good player, and who knows, this ankle injury could mean that he never really hits that potential that he clearly has. I will obviously try and find somebody to come in. At the moment, we've got Latilat, who can play there perfectly well, and then we've got Sidio Cataldo, who is not great. He can come in and do a job occasionally, but I'd rather not use him too much. I've been bringing him on mainly either in games that don't matter too much. I think he's played in he played in one of the cup games, and come in to games when we're already winning them or already losing them, so that he can kind of just get a bit of experience and be available for situations like this, essentially. So hopefully we won't be too badly affected here, although it does mean, I think, that Rolla, I think the expectations that we have of him have to be tempered somewhat. It's a bit sad. But I will be back with you shortly when I've decided But I will be back with you shortly when I've decided which games that we are going to do. I'm thinking perhaps it will be Catania because that's televised, and Monopoly. So we will come back for those two. Back in a second. Right, here we are with the first televised game of the season against Catania. As you can see, we've had a decent start to the season. We're only 3 points off the top. As you can see, we lost that first game that you saw, and we lost the last game against Taranto. We were absolutely mullered in that game, played badly. But apart from that, we're doing pretty well. Pretty impressive little run where we were unbeaten for, how many games is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games unbeaten there. 6 wins and 3 draws, and that leaves us just 3 points off the top. So I think I'm relatively happy. Obviously, it could be better. I was really disappointed with that last game. But if we can bounce back from it, then we're in a pretty good position still. So let's hope we can keep that up. Roller is obviously out until towards the end of the season. He will probably play a few more times this season, but not many. If we get another great youngster in, he will probably play before Roller does at this point. So that's the team for today, up against Catania. Don't notice any players here I recognise on their side. Let's show everyone what we're about, because I think this is a team that should be getting promoted this year. We've had a lot of false starts. Should have won the league last year. I do think we probably should be winning the league this year as well. Let's see how things go. Still like to find a really top striker, because I think my strikers are good but not brilliant. And I need someone who is going to score 25, 30 goals a season, and none of my current strikers will ever do that, I don't think. On that note, Pellegrini is injured, so I might just give him a few minutes. So you want to come off, right? So you're bringing on Castelli, I think. D'Agostino. And saved by Volpe. Castelli. Castelli gives the ball away, but DiMarco wins it back, crosses the ball in, and Cataldo hits over the bar. It's interesting to note that we've had, just because we've got our star right winger out, we have got two youngsters in from our academy, and we have now gone behind. D'Agostino heading the ball home. A very Roller-like goal. It's the kind of goal Roller scores all the time. D'Agostino finds Aslan, back to D'Agostino. And tell you what, we are being ripped apart for the second game running at the moment. This is a bit of a worry. Just going to go a little bit less positive. I want to stay within striking distance of the top, really. A defeat here would not be good for that. Castelli shoots, but that's wildly over the bar. And that's half-time. Incidentally, I should note that there probably will be a few more videos in this season, because whilst I'll continue to do a video a day, I've now got COVID, which means that I am confined to barracks for at least a week or so. I think it might be 10 days. The guidance seems to be changing almost as I speak, but it certainly means that I've got a few days of doing not much but playing Football Manager, and that does mean that I can really get ahead a bit with the videos, and it probably means that there will be smaller gaps between the videos, just because I've got more time to do the editing, which is the thing that takes time. The playing isn't the issue. Ceccarelli, and it's cleared away for now. D'Agostino to Casallo, shot, and it's gone over the bar, and we are still not playing well. I'm going to need to shout at them. And it's a bit late now. I wish I could cancel that, but there's no point in shouting them now because we're not going to get back into this. Really poor performance. I think these players are just not good enough, and it doesn't help. We've got injuries. We've got one very long-term injury. And it looks to me like this game is probably done for us. Latilat, can we bring something out of it? Castelli, Australia can't pick the ball up. And this will leave us 6 points behind US Stabia at the top, and that's a worry. It's a big gap that we can't really afford to let continue. And that's that. A pretty comprehensive defeat for a team that is struggling a bit at the moment after a very good start. I was hoping that the last game was a bit of a one-off, but that's 2 games in a row that we've been kind of battered but in, and things are going to need to improve. I'm obviously going to be looking for a few more players, particularly in the absence of Roller. I think we need to find a right winger, because I don't think Cataldo is up to it at the moment. I'm not sure if he ever will be. You can see from that there's not a lot of green, and there's 2 greens and not a lot of yellow, in fact. So we're going to need to find a right winger for sure. And whilst we can play Latilat there, it's not ideal. I don't think he's much more left-sided. We'll see. So I will be back with the next game against Monopoly in 7 days. And hopefully by then we might have 1 or 2 players in who can help us out. See you in a second. Right, and here we are with the Monopoly away game. We haven't managed to sign anyone yet. In fact, I was really struggling. I can't find a right winger really yet. Hopefully that will turn up maybe in the January transfer window. But I have managed to find a left-sided player who I think will come in and be an improvement anyway. They're obviously going to be playing up here, which is a bit of an issue. I suppose there is a chance we might be able to play him at left back. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I mean, it's not ideal. It's not the one I would have hoped for. But we need somebody. And at the moment, he's the only one I can find who even comes close to looking at what we need. Striker-wise, I haven't been able to find anyone yet, although I will keep looking. Got Mirko Ramo back in theory. Let's bring him in, I think. So this is the team we're going to go with today. That way around, I think. Let's see what happens here. We've obviously got to win this game. For 2 defeats in a row, we need to start putting things right. So hopefully we can make that happen. Early stages here, and Monopoly have the ball. Can we win it back high up the pitch? We are supposed to be pressing high, and it does look like it's working quite well because we've got the ball straight back to the goalkeeper, although I would like to push that line up a bit more. We're pressing more often, but perhaps a little lower than I would like. Stanger makes a fantastic tackle there. That was brilliant. Oh, whoops. Was that offside? It looked like it might be. Yeah, I think the assistant's run back. No, it's not. It's going to count. It's close. So yeah, that's a poor start, and it really does worry me because we've been struggling a little bit in the last couple of games, and something is going to need to change. I do wonder whether we may need to change the tactic, which I haven't done for a while. It does feel like we're struggling at the moment. Something's not quite right. Without Roller, just lacks that excitement. He can make things happen out of nowhere. Esposito, they are absolutely all over us here. I feel like we're going to rely on him with some kind of sucker punch and get an equaliser. But the likelihood is they're going to score more goals anyway, so it won't matter. We'll have to give them a bit of a rollicking at half time, I think. We may end up forcing ourselves into the playoffs again at this rate because we are not playing well at all. And Letilat's through, and we've got the goal. We've improved in the early stages of the second half. DiMarco finds Pellegrini, who finds Latilat, and we are there. We're 1-1. Hopefully we can show some improvement in the second half and actually win this game. But conceding a penalty almost just a moment after scoring is not ideal, and we are behind again. So we've got to start again. We've got to try and come back again. We have made a brighter start to the second half, though. We're passing it around nicely, but can we get some incision? Latilat. Shiro crosses in, and we are looking promising. Cross comes in, and Volpe makes a save. Volpe makes another save. He's had a good game, I feel like, Volpe. I'm surprised he's only at 6.9. Unmotivated, probably, because he's seeing what's happening in front of him, and it's not good enough. Pellegrini, though. So it's been better since half-time. That's a red card. Interesting. Right, we need to really go for this now. We're going to win this game. I can feel it. We can turn this around. Stelly's going to need to come off. But we haven't got anyone to bring him off for. So short at the moment. We need some more players. Vitorini now to start again. Crosses the ball into Latilat, and Pellegrini's there, and it's disallowed. It's a shame. I need more, boys. Come on. We are almost at the point here where we can't really look at winning this game. We might just have to save a draw. But it's disappointing. We've had them down to 10 men for a significant part of this second half, and we were better in the second half. We just haven't really created as much as I thought we might. Half an hour against 10 men and we couldn't score. One last effort to try and get a point out of this. Pellegrini's through and he's missed it. Maybe there will be one more chance, who knows. Pellegrini crosses it in, throws it in, sorry, and Somariva saves it. Surely will be that. 3 defeats in a row. This is obviously a problem. It's a problem I'm going to need to solve, and I think a tactical change is in order here, because we're not just losing, we are losing badly. And we're losing badly in that case to 10 men for half an hour. And suddenly things look rather difficult in terms of winning the league, which is most definitely what I need to do this season. I do not want to be leaving this to the playoffs because, as I've shown you so many times, it's so difficult to get through these playoffs. So something is going to need to change, and I think that will involve something changing in terms of the tactics. So I'm going to have to go away and have a look at that and see what I can do. I wonder if maybe this is the end of wingers for me, because the wingers we've got, particularly with Roller out, are just not quite of the required standard. So I think I might see if I can find a way of playing without wingers for now. I'll be back at some point. Let's see where we can come back for. I might come back for the Cosenza game just because it's also on TV, and that was a good reason. 2 teams we haven't played before, Cosenza and Lanusei. And that, I would think, given that they're 18th and 20th, might give me a chance to show you a couple of wins instead of a couple of losses that I've shown you just now. So we'll have Juve Stabia, which will be a tough game. And given our form, I think it's likely we'll lose that. But I'll come back and do the Cosenza and Lanusei games for you and show you, hopefully, what might be a return to form, which we absolutely desperately need. Because as you can see, we are kind of having a bit of a problem at the moment. After a pretty good start, apart from that first day of the season, the last 3 games have been very, very disappointing. 1 goal in 3, conceding 7, and really not looking like winning any of them. We got battered in all 3. And this is a bit of a concern now. So be with us tomorrow, hopefully. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we will see an improvement. If you have any comments, questions, or advice, frankly, please do leave it in the comments below. Let me know who you'd like to see come in terms of personnel, what kind of personnel. Obviously, you're not going to know names. I'm not expecting that. But
if you think maybe we need a left back who's a little bit more reliable, possibly agree with you. We certainly need wingers if we're going to keep playing with wingers, although I think I might abandon that at least for the rest of this season. Long term, we're going to need more wingers because Roller is really the only one at the moment who's producing anything. And if you have any other comments, please do leave them in the comments below and let me know what you think of the series so far. See you tomorrow.